step over here. What I've done here is actually kind of shown the volumes of some of the elements. This is not everything yet, but this is some of the elements that of materials that a person would need for a year anywhere in space, and in this case on the moon. The biggest one, of course, weighs the most is water. Next thing is actually breathing oxygen. This tank here is not an air tank. It's actually air compressed into a liquid oxygen. So that this is the smallest you could store the oxygen, but it weighs significantly. So you got a lot of weight there. Food is basically just based off of the size of a TV dinner, and I've got well over 1,000 TV dinners in that volume. And then this box is turns out to be one of the expendables that you have is a means by which of getting carbon dioxide out of the air. If you recall from Apollo 13, that they go through this big process to build this filter to remove the carbon dioxide from the air. Mm-hmm. That filter is based off of a material called lithium hydroxide, which basically just absorbs carbon dioxide out of the air. It's a solid, and I didn't give you a box of filters here. I actually give you a box of the material, so that you would actually have to think about the volume of the filters themselves rather than just the box of lithium hydroxide powder that would be in a box like this.
Mm-hmm. So those are the supplies, and those are, well, they would be calculated either in terms of non-recycling or in terms of recycling, depending on the recycling capability that's available in the facility.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So part of the reason I go through the effort of actually building the size of these things is when we scale this down to the size of a habitat for an individual, how much room does he have to have for his supplies? And that's part of what the virtual world provides me as a writer, is to be able to see what kind of volume this individual is living in, how cramped it is, how.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, you would be able to present pictures, images of the build, so if other people could see the size of the facility he's in, or this facility, in any kind of promotion, or perhaps in the book itself, in the story itself, along with the story, since it's not in the book, or I guess it's not in the book.
Yeah, so we can provide this information to the individual users, but it also allows potential authors to think about from this interview what they could do in a virtual world in terms of setting things up to look at things that never have existed before.
Yes. Okay, go ahead.
I'm looking
out at the crawler. We were looking out at the crawler just a moment ago. So if you want to tell us about that, or do you want to tell us about the garden?
Let's go on out to the crawler right now, and I get basically have a series of doors that got set up in the crawler, and something was wrong with the crawler itself, so I fell through the.
Yeah, that happens. Fortunately,
that happens sometimes. But going inside, the idea here is that we've got a vehicle that you can drive around on the moon surface, and you don't have to be an in a vac suit to drive around. There's a similar vehicle that NASA's been testing. That they refer to as their Pressurized Rover. I just gave it the name Crawler for the purposes of the story. But the idea with the Crawler build was to provide a sense of how small going out on one of these prospecting missions, how an individual would be able to go out and do that. And then also to actually carry around an airlock with him so that he could don a spacesuit and go outside and, look at the rocks that might have value.
Yes. Well, are you able to hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Well, then I'm probably beyond the recording. I recall that in the moon events there were, well, I don't know whether they call that a crawler or a vehicle or a buggy, dune buggy, a moon buggy or something like that. But there certainly was a vehicle playing a role in some of the later missions.
Yes, the three, the last three Apollo missions, they took a dune buggy up called the Lunar Rover. This would actually be a step up from that because the Lunar Rover did not have a enclosed volume.
No, they had to wear their spacesuits.
Exactly, and part of the design of their mission was based upon if that rover broke down, how far they needed to walk back to the lunar module to leave the moon. And so, based on how much oxygen they had, they would have what they would call a walk-back radius. And so the way they would design their EVAs was so that they would always have enough time to walk back to the lunar module if that rover ever broke down. And what the pressurized rover does for you is it kind of extends that radius out of base. Because it then allows you to think about how much oxygen is left in the crawler.
And they're not they're not using the spacesuits inside the crawler, so they're not using any oxygen at that point in the spaceship supply.
In the spacesuit supply, and that would allow them to have enough. They'd be able to, if there's a crawler breakdown, they at least have a habitat that they can stay in and repair the crawler instead of having to worry to walk all the way back.
Oh yes, that's